Peace was I trust we're doing well. So let's talk about the Antichrist. And I grew up from the Pentecostal church. Those days, most of the elders there had not been to theologian schools. It's more like just the ordinary people who were in church. If they realized you were hardworking, they put you in leadership positions. So the men were elders or deacons, and the women became deaconesses. I went through church, all those rules, so I got it to the deaconess level. Those days, there was this particular man who had been able to go through theology, seminary school, had his theology degree, master's. At a point, I even learned he was going for his PhD. It's like he was knowledgeable in the Bible, and so occasionally he would come and give Bible teachings. And notable among his teachings was a subject on Antichrist, 666, the Illuminati, all those things. And by then, we too, young people, and honestly, Sunday, Pastor Bejan, we preach it, but we didn't also have time reading through the Bible, And anytime this man came to give those lessons, for like a week or sometimes days, we are not sleeping. You are in fright mode because it kind of looks like rapture is going to happen the next day. And you're just trying to be extra conscious and pious with yourself so that if God should be coming, you don't miss it. Unfortunately, this piousness lasts for just some few weeks. You realize, the same old message. We listened the last time, we waited and we were all holy and God didn't come. Some few months later, you've come to preach the same message. But as I sit here now, what I realized was that most of these churches and pastors, when they realize members are awakening or their faith in Christianity is dwindling, then they go into those parts of the Bible that shows the fierceness, punishing side of God. They bring them to preach just to draw the minds of the members back into the church and Christianity. So it was always like that, and we're always afraid because most of the times after his message, we spend like 30 minutes praying, asking for forgiveness of sins, asking God to help us to be able to detach from this one. When you go home, you're going to watch TV, you're going to eat, you're still going to think of how you're going to get money to do all your runs and all that. And so it was always 7-day cycle. You go to listen to those scare messages, you go back home, and you realize that just by going to church on Sunday, for the rest of the 6 days, you are back. Life has to go on. So it was always like that. Those days in the churches, most of the people there were market women, uneducated women in terms of classroom, doing their own jobs. So there's even no time. And they've also to read the Bible, and they've also been groomed in Christianity like that, and boy jamai men ya dear men diko consa and so called market women na conseya no mudi. And even when I grew up, went through university days, because that fear side was there, I never thought of drifting away. What if God kills me as I drifted away? So I was always there until lo and behold, what is meant to be will be. I awaken, and then I start going back to all those messages on social media of the Antichrist, 666, rapture, Illuminati. I'm like, that's not to say that if you are not a Christian, it gives you the liberty to do whatever you want. But it's all about building consciousness, Then I realize Antichrist, no. And the Antichrist is no other than me. It's just denying the message of Jesus Christ. Because after all, who is Jesus? According to the Bible, he was God himself in human form that was born through a virgin betrothed to another man. God, Obi girl. That aside, but the point is, why should I even be believing in another man for my salvation? Why can't I believe in myself? Why can't I hold my own integrity? So most of us stuck into this doctrine in church, and many years down the lane, look at what is happening in Christianity. Almost every day, day in, day out, we hear of some scandal pertaining to either pastors, their church members. That is up to them. It's none of our business. But for me, I sit here and I'm grateful, so grateful, because now I look back and sometimes I wonder what it would take for other people to also snap out of Christianity. But for me, I'm just grateful for the lessons, You look back sometimes like, oh my God, I wish I knew. I wish I had gotten out of that place earlier on. But it's all good. I always say experiences for all of us are going to be very different. Sometimes it takes people to lose so much, almost everything, before they awaken. For me, at the point, I even lost a child, and it was out of all that I started seeking knowledge here and there, seeking solution, and that's where it has gotten me. There were painful experiences in Christianity, but of course, there was no escaping because by then I didn't know of any other way. Now I know. Antichrist simply means denying that damp message of Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior and being in tune with yourself, your own consciousness. And in as much as it's not that rosy, because as humans, sometimes you juggle within your mind like, do I have to do this, not do that? But at the end of the day, you find your peace because when you've done something good, you can sit back, relax, and be happy about what you've done. And when you are walking on the wrong path, it's also up to you to decide to face the consequences or make a U-turn so you can enjoy the peacefulness of nature, of the universe, and all that God has in store for us. Peace to us all.